Man is the cruelest animal. Friedrich Nietzsche. Along comes Jesus with this wonderful moralistic philosophy about why we should be tolerant and understanding of our fellow human beings, and then we spend the next 2,000 years killing one another because we can't quite agree on how he said it. Interview with the Monty Python team. See? Their morals, their code. It's a bad joke, dropped at the first sign of trouble. They're only as good as the world allows them to be. I'll show ya. When the chips are down, these civilized people, they'll eat each other. The Joker, the Dark Knight. We were by nature children of wrath, even as the rest. Paul the Apostle, Ephesians chapter 2, verse 3, the Bible. Don't be afraid of the dead, son. They can't really do anything to hurt you. Be afraid of the living, because they can and will hurt you given the opportunity. Antonia B. Keyes. As you can probably guess from the numerous videos I've put together for popular authors like Stephen King, Dean Koontz, H.P. Lovecraft, and William Hope Hodgson, I'm a huge fan of the horror genre. The videos I've made for role-playing games like World of Darkness and the Laundry series by Charles Stross serve only to confirm this. But yes, horror is one of my favorite genres, not just because it can excite audiences through fear, but also because it can also serve as a warning regarding real-life dangers. And, in this world at least, I can say that there is no greater danger than those posed by our fellow man. Hi, hello, and welcome again everybody to another episode of Natural Juan. This time around, I will be discussing the concept of danger posed by humanity itself and the true horror they represent. Before all that though, here's a quick shout out to Mr. Jonathan Green, a long-time supporter of this channel and my content. Now that we have all that out of the way, it's time to discuss the horror of humanity. When people talk about horror, especially in the Philippines, they tend to pertain to monsters. When asked what monsters scare them most people will say zombies, human corpses animated by dark magic or science gone mad and driven by hunger for human flesh or the need for violence. Others might say aliens, such as those from the Alien franchise who seek to devour and impregnate hapless people to perpetuate their reproductive cycle. Perhaps the ruthless predators, or yautja as they are called in-universe, who hunt human beings for sport. Or maybe even like those from films like Independence Day or Signs, who seek to conquer the earth and enslave humanity. Another popular choice are spiritual entities like ghosts or demons who, due to being insubstantial and invisible, can wreak considerable havoc to a person. However, it is not uncommon as well for people to mention that the worst monsters are probably human beings. After all, the countless atrocities such as murders, thefts, assaults, and whatnot are the result of human actions and interactions, from riots that have gone out of control, from what were otherwise peaceful protests, innocent people being targeted by cruel witch hunts, to those being stalked and possibly slain by mass murderers. You name it, all those result from the actions of humans and are only occasionally stopped or prevented by human intervention. These are often the topics of many horror stories in various media. These films, stories, novels, comics, and other media showcase the evil inherent in humanity itself and how ignoring this trait can lead to untold destruction. For while a lot of people tend to be optimistic and sincerely believe that there is a lot of good in human beings, there is no denying the fact that there are more than a few people that are, without a doubt, quite evil. As an example of this could be found in the works of Junji Ito, such as Hellstar Remina and Gyo, In Hellstar Remina, for instance, it is shown that while the titular planet is the greatest threat to mankind, it is more along the lines of evil humans that truly worsen the situation. Indeed, while the monstrous world prepares to devour the earth and its inhabitants, it gazes upon the innumerable throng pursuing the young girl who just happens to share its name literally around the world, in order to torture and kill her in the worst way possible. This showcases that instead of trying to find a means to save themselves from an inevitably gruesome end, they instead pursue and attempt to kill a girl who they think is responsible for their predicament, simply because she shares the name of the evil planet. Meanwhile, in the manga series Gyo, it is shown that the awful zombie fish that decide to infest the mainland is not the result of some virus or even an eldritch horror of some kind, which I was hoping for. It was all due to human cruelty, which people attempted to hide and cover up instead of owning up and somehow resolving it. The end result was a zombie apocalypse of truly epic proportions that included even that of fish. Another good instance would be the many stories and novels written by Stephen King, such as Under the Dome and Dreamcatcher. Some of the ideas I would like to point out is how, in Under the Dome at least, it is shown that the aliens acting to trap humans under some kind of force field aren't an invading force, or even harbor any kind of hatred for humanity, but simply because they're behaving like children torturing ants with a magnifying glass. And, even at the end, when the aliens set the humans free, they make it clear that while they find their actions cruel, they still refuse to apologize to beings they consider to be less than them. In Dreamcatcher, where a deadly alien virus is set upon the world at large, it is revealed that while the substance called the Byram is indeed evil and dangerous, as exemplified by the alien creature called Mr. Grey, it is people's panic, paranoia, and generally poor response that allows the extraterrestrial pathogen to proliferate and cause even more havoc and destruction. The narrator in the story even surmises that if people had just stayed calm and processed ideas a little more rationally, the Byram could have been neutralized and contained within just a couple of hours. In many comics, the evil of humans is further expounded upon by series like The Walking Dead and the infamous Crossed. In The Walking Dead, which would receive a TV show, film, and video game adaptations, it is shown that the zombies found therein are more of an environmental threat and usually only become dangerous when they outnumber humans or catch them by surprise. In reality, it is shown time and time again that the real danger is that of other human beings that seek to exploit the desperate and afraid. The zombies involved simply make it easier for evil people to take advantage of others looking for safety and a means to fill their needs and the needs of their loved ones. The Crossed, in all their disgusting awfulness, are another great example as well, since, while they don't seem like your run-of-the-mill zombie, they are nonetheless very human-like and spread their condition through a process similar to an infection. I am not sure, and it has been stated outright, that the sickness is in fact the result of a scientific experiment gone wrong, but I will always think it is more of a spiritual pestilence than anything caused by just some pathogen. Whatever the case, all these show that humans are not fully good, and can and will be a threat to their fellow man, given the right circumstances. While I for one would like to believe in the goodness of the human spirit, it has been shown time and time again throughout history how inhumane human beings can be to others of their own kind. In fact, much of the inspiration for the horrors mentioned above come from real-world events and incidents, such as the work of the Nazis and that of Imperial Japan during World War II. The oppressive regimes of various empires over the centuries, from that of Spain, the Roman Empire, to the days of Mesopotamia, and many, many more. With the way the world is today, with one atrocity taking place after another, I find myself wondering about the nature of man and our place on this earth. I didn't really enjoy making this video essay, but with what's happening on the news all over the world, I just had to say something. even if not all of you appreciate it, including myself. With various spaceborne objects being suspected of being alien spacecraft, I can only wonder, if they are indeed probes or spaceships of some kind, what extraterrestrials would think of us. There's just so much horror and injustice in the world today that sometimes I wonder if real life is a horror story in and of itself. Like I said, I didn't want to make this video to be at all honest, but with what I've seen and what I've experienced, I can only really comment on it now.